Tell me what you see when you look at me. Do you see another brother lost in these streets looking for his soul?
Trying to find my soul.
Or do you see another brother searching for lost souls in these streets? A street soldier.
Street soldier.
Here to help you get that chip off your shoulder, warm your colder days and sober your drunken ways, and find a way to help you get over these hurdles placed in our path. And this is not meant to amuse you. This is for all those who have questions but are afraid to ask.
I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. No. When times get hard, you lose your way. Open your mind and hear what I say.
This is a message for the hard and the soft. To those who tune in weekly and to those who keep an eye out for 8 p.m. on Sundays and turn their radios off. The truth hurts. The cloth has been pulled. We're walking around half dead. Use this show as your IV. Alive and Free is a new movement. We've achieved self-destruction. A street soldier promotes self-improvement.
Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah. Streets couldn't be no colder, so I gotta be a soldier. It shouldn't be this hard for me. Even when it seems so hopeless, I gotta keep my focus. I'm glad to be alive and free, yeah.
Right. We have a very, very
beautiful,
special
Tamisha. You look beautiful.
Hey!
Thank you.
A special guest, Madam City Councilwoman.
Yeah. Hey!
Tamisha Walker. Tamisha, I first of all, let's just start there. Congratulations.
Yes.
You are now a city council person.
Antioch, California.
First of all, let me just say about her first job is the president and director of the Safe Return Project in Richmond, California. But let's just jump right into this new thing that she has taken on. And I got to ask you, what made you want to run for political office?
I didn't want to run, and I think a lot of people don't understand when I say that. It takes a lot for me to it took a lot for me to consider myself in that space, just because being on the front line is where I feel the most free, and being in community. And I hate red tape and bureaucracy. And when I see some change that's possible for our people, I just do not like negotiating with politicians. But it's been a couple years now having conversations about my next level of leadership or activism. And, I thought philanthropy, but then I was like, no. And then just start talking to a lot of women like Latifah Simon, and who are really leading amazing organizations, but ran for office to represent people who don't have a voice, and just having these deep conversations with other Black women who ran and were successful, and even women who ran and didn't win, but were like, the run was the win, just by inspiring other folks. So I pulled my papers and I filed the day before the deadline.
Oh, wow.
And I actually was telling myself, I'm waiting for somebody progressive to emerge that I can support. And I just heard, Richard, who is a good friend of mine, he always was like, why not you? And nobody did. And I was like, nobody progressive is stepping up. And folks was like, because you haven't pulled your papers yet. So I wasn't going to do it. And then I had another young man shot up the street from my house. And nobody on the city council mentioned that shooting. And then I knew that I needed to do this. And so I knew it was going to be hard, but I knew I needed to do it.
Now, what city is this now? I just want to make sure I got the right.
Antioch, California.
Antioch.
Yes. The boonies. The
Oh,
boonies of
no,
the Bay.
Antioch, let me just say this in a nice way. Antioch needs you. A lot of stuff goes on in Antioch has all kind of nicknames, you know,
And Antioch has
Okioch.
changed, Doc. I mean,
A lot of folks out there.
Antioch has changed too since we were there 20 years ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're that change. You're
It's
part
a
of that
more
change.
diverse city now.
Yeah.
It's went from like maybe, I mean, it's about a little over 100,000 in population. Um, and I think, for cities who become diverse overnight, what happened was that the city grew seemingly overnight, and the local government hasn't caught up.
Mm.
And so it's been a big challenge for people of color, Black people, poor people, documented and undocumented families out here to really participate in democracy. And so, yeah, I'm trying, just trying to figure it all out at this point. Yeah.
Um, what was the campaigning, the speeches, the this, the that? I mean,
It was like I felt so corny because I was saying like, you know, vote for Tamisha Walker, the right choice for change. I was saying doing fundraising events. I was saying every dollar literally makes change, and I felt so corny, but it was so fun. It was fun, and it was totally volunteer. So I mean, I didn't have any money. I had to take from my savings to start the campaign. And for, if you're running up against two incumbents, and I wouldn't say I'm a no name, obviously, but in the political world, you considered a no name if you running up against incumbents. So I mean, we had residents volunteer. We have all my friends from Richmond who are Antioch
right.
residents threw down because they were happy to support. And the only thing we spent money on was comms because we're in a COVID time. And so if you didn't have good communications, you were in trouble. And so we just did the best we could. And I got out there and knocked on doors and talked to people and asked people what they wanted. How about that? Like
Mm,
some people
mm.
don't. And that was really good. So that was our thing, the right choice for change, moving forward. And I had some battles around my record, but they were small. I was a little concerned about the police associations, but I think just being public about my history and my
Mhm.
record over the last 10 years helped, because it wasn't like I had anything to hide. I mean, there was no rocks to overturn, so I could just be honest with the community. And we did tea time with Tamisha every Friday at 10 a.m. where we brought on partners and community members to talk about possible solutions and models, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
In tonight's topic, title for sure, I said a street soldier becomes a city council person, a politician. And I mean, we know your history, but maybe some of the folks watching don't. Um, just talk about what you've been doing for the last 10 years and, the Safe Return Project. And
Yes, I
yeah,
mean, I came home from incarceration in the summer of 2009 and just kind of struggled a little bit trying to get my bearings in reentry, and got a great opportunity to become a part of the Safe Return Project. And for the last 10 years as a co-founder, just been focused, like hyper focused on ending mass incarceration and mass criminalization of Black people and poor people, and re-enfranchising communities impacted by criminalization, and also really having great opportunities to heal from past experience. And so we do participatory action research, we do policy advocacy, leadership development for frontline communities impacted by the criminal legal system. And um and it's amazing because like we've been able to do all of this work from Richmond, but we have been nationally recognized for some of
Mhm.
our policies for reducing barriers for folks. A lot of We launched a fellowship and leadership development trainings and work with Alive and Free. I mean that when I left my first training with you, Doc, I was like, I'm still sick. I can't be out in the community helping people. I need to get well. And just really thinking about how do we do frontline leadership, mobilization, organizing, and healing, and not healing being last, but first. And that's been what Safer Turn has been doing, and really hyper focused on over the last 10 years. And just so you know, Doc, my cousin still bring it up when I first came on your show with Safer Turn years ago, and I said publicly that I would tell on people if they if they came to my house and they done committed a crime. I was like, I'm telling, my cousin won't let
That's
me.
right. That's right. You're a community. You got to go.
I was like, I ain't going back for nobody. But I had to be honest with myself and my family. And that's what we kind of been able to also partner with Omega and Alive and Free have been able to just train our folks too, to just, you know, think about the decisions that we make and the opportunities that if you make the wrong decision, you know, it doesn't just impact you. And so that's been a great thing for us. And we turned 10 years old in October. Safe Return did. And I raised my first $1 million as
Mm.
the first time director.
Yeah.
So it's been an amazing experience with Safe Return. And folks are saying like, okay, so what's gonna happen to Safe Return? I'm like, I'm still the director of Safe Return, you know. um I love the idea of Safe Return and what we do. And I'm not like, come on now, a city council member, it's extremely volunteer.
That's
We
what
don't
I'm about to say.
have
Them jobs don't
staff.
pay.
Right, we don't have no staff. I do have a mortgage. So but I'm excited to see what I could possibly um help bring some of the work to Antioch. It's so important for our folks.
Hey Doc, can I
Yeah.
get a question in?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Tamisha, I was congratulations on your victory, and
Thank
well, must have been agonizing. I was agonizing waiting for the results to come in, so I know it must have been a long wait for you. But I was telling Doc the other day, I know you through the work in Richmond, California, the Healthy Richmond Initiative. Kind of that's how I know you. We're 10 years in, and I was telling him, I remember some of those first meetings that I was a part of out at North Richmond, and seeing all the people involved, so many good people that have been, a part of that work. And, a lot of the people aren't there. They've moved on. They've gone on to other things. They've went in a new direction. Some people, whatever, personal life. Some people fell off completely. You won't stop. You just keep going and going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny. What is that? Because you've had victories along the way. You've had enough that you could have just put your feet up and been like, yeah, I did this. But you just keep going. What's that all about?
I, when you're called to do something, it's very different. And so you don't get tired
Mm,
of doing what you're called to do.
mm.
And that's just me. I don't think I'll ever get tired.
That's a very Dr. Marshall thing to say. He says stuff like that. He's just, I'm not gonna get what I'm tired. And you said you called. You feel that way. You're called.
I'm leaning into my purpose. And I think I have been all my life. I was saying to somebody else, people ask you those questions like, if you could go back and change anything, what would you change? And now that I think about it, I wouldn't change a thing.
Mm,
Because everything I went through prepared me for this moment, tomorrow, and the next day. And so I think that, when you're leaning into what you're called to do, it's not you don't get tired. And I think that's just where I am. And service. People think of service as lowly and servants as the lowest people,
Mm.
but servants are held in high regard in heaven. And so I'm excited. I'm just excited. I think I'm just gonna just keep operating like that.
This
I
reminds me of a song. I don't feel no ways tired. I've come too far from where I've started from. Nobody told me that the road was going to be easy. I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. You keep on doing that work, girl. You keep on doing that work. Everything you need to do the work that you've been called to do, you will have.
Thank you, Lady Estelle.
I just want to echo both Malcolm and Lady Estelle, Tamisha, and you used all the words for me. Calling, we completely understand that. Purpose, Kwanzaa's coming up, that's Nia. and service. And, this is a service. And I don't really like the word politician, because politician to me has been associated with a whole bunch of stuff that that's what people go into politics about. But even but public service is a whole different thing, and that's what I know you're going into it with. It's funny. You're a public servant who's going to be probably surrounded by a bunch of politicians. They probably won't get you, but that's okay.
They already don't get me, Doc.
As long as you get you, that's all that matters. And I gotta just again echo, the work you've done with Safe Return. I remember the day you came to the training. I specifically remember you sitting there and some people just come and take that training, but you completely got it. And I think the transformation had already begun, but we like to say some people are transformed by the work, and you took that and use it on yourself first to make yourself, the best servant you could be, and then went out and Safe Return is amazing. Yeah, it's just an amazing thing. It is like, damn. I mean, and I also takes, and let me throw another word out there, is vision. A lot of people can't see what you see. And the only thing that drives something like that is what you see. Because you had to see it. You had to see it and believe in it. And you have just done an amazing, amazing job. That's why the first question I asked you said, you still going to be doing Safe Return?
Yes.
Yes. Incredible. And thank you for involving us in the work, me and Dre and Malcolm's out there. It's just you just done an incredible job, which means you're going to do incredible at this. And when I say they need you, they need people like you, people who are in it for the right reasons, people who want to be servants. So this girl, go ahead with your red hair. Is that red?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We can't not say nothing about that.
I'll go there.
Oh.
Go ahead with your bad.
You walking into the dais like, I'm fired up.
I'm 38. I'm still young. I'm not. I get to explore.
I'm fired up. Hey, of course, Richard Boyd would be, crying tears of joy. And I know you think about him every day. I do too. But as I watch your journey, I can't help but think about Richard. I know, Doc, you didn't have a chance to meet Richard Boyd, but he was such an influential person, mentor to so many in Richmond. Before we let you go, Tamisha, if you had to, just in a few words, talk about what Richard meant to you and what he still means to you,
And tell me about Richard, because I don't know. So just, tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, real quick. Richard was Richmond's Dr. Marshall. Richard was the he didn't like Richard was a bridge builder. He
Yes.
didn't believe in he believed that every you know how people say burning bridges? He didn't
Mhm.
believe that no bridge was beyond repair.
Mm.
And the one thing that he taught me was that my time was valuable,
Mm.
that like I deserved picnics. He was like, picnics aren't just for white people, you know. He would challenge us to think beyond what was in front of us,
Yes.
and not just what we just everything that we thought was impossible to just believe that is possible. And he just has such a kind heart, and he would show up for you. He would, be there for you no matter what you needed. And he taught me a lot about myself. We would argue, and then I would go home and be mad because he was right, and then
Mm.
come back the next day and my behavior would be changed, and he would be like, how did you just do it? And it was because I trusted him, and so many people did trust him, and he believed in deep relationships. And so that's what I really appreciate about Richard Boyd. And he always talked about us needing to invest in our people to be great.
Yes.
Great. Not good enough,
Yes.
but great. And I hold on to that because I shy away from affirmation. I don't like to talk about all of my successes. And Richard's like, no, the aspiration is greatness. And that's what we need to instill in our people. And and in order to do that, our time is the most valuable thing we can give them. And that was Richard. And so I just hope that I am like making Richard proud, and that like even people who have never met Richard hope that they're making Richard proud.
I heard that.
Because I'm like, if it wasn't for Richard Boyd,
Mhm.
and I think that's, without Richard, Richmond wouldn't even be. I don't even think Richmond would be what it is right now.
Mm.
Kind of like
Mm.
that, when the glue that kind of holds everybody together.
Yeah.
And he made sure that we stayed in relationship. And so I'm really grateful for having met him. And I think he lived 10 years longer than he was supposed to, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm.
Malcolm, because he had a lot of health issues.
Yeah.
And selfishly, I
Eh,
say he lived that long to meet me because I needed him.
Mm.
Mm.
I needed him to live that long to meet me and my sons love him. My oldest son loves him. And so I just you just elders that show up like that, we
Mhm.
can't never let the world forget about them.
Mhm.
Well
How
said.
long has he been?
He passed away a couple years ago. What?
2018.
Yeah, 2018.
Well, it sounds like he would certainly be proud of this moment in your life. And I don't know, the elders I would say, they would say, boy, you doing good. You look what you're doing now. I don't know if he would say it like that, but I'm sure that he would be very proud of your achievement, Madam Councilwoman. Um, you're going to have a couple of ceremonies this week, you said, a formal one and sort of a family one. So tell everybody about those.
Yeah, so at the there'll be a swearing in at the Antioch City Council meeting. It'll be streaming online virtually,
Hmm.
and that's like the official one. And then there's supposed to be a public ceremony. Is drive up, stay in your car on the 11th at 10 a.m. But you know because we don't want to wear our mask. We don't want to social. No, I'm messing with you. I don't want to shame people, but we are going into shelter in place. So I believe that's still up in the air, but people can still tune in Tuesday night, this Tuesday, 7 p.m. to the Antioch City Council meeting, where I'll be sworn in, and officially a council member. Now I don't start till January, so I keep telling people I don't start till January. I can't make no promises, no commitments. I don't do that anyway. But I'm really excited to study and see what we could do. And the first thing that I want to put on the agenda as a council member is that we establish a human rights and racial equity commission, because we do not have that in Antioch. And so I'm really excited to see what we could do.
Boy, big congratulations. It's just amazing. I mean, wow, this is great. I mean, they are lucky to have you. If there were more people like you, true public servants who went into politics would be much better off. Because I've often said, and I know this isn't true for you, so I can say it here, that politics is more about power and keeping power than it is about doing good and right. And for you, I know it's about doing what's good and what's right. and that's just what they need, because politicians can do so much good and do so much right, but it can't be about power. And I know, like you said, you ain't in it for that. You in it for that's just what you do. That's who you are. And just congratulations. And we got your back, of course. I know you don't want a whole bunch of folks from the from the hoods of the
No, we actually
like, y'all messing with our girl. What's up? Messing with our girl.
We actually need a lot for our young people in Antioch. A lot of our young people here have been displaced from San Francisco, from Oakland, from Richmond. And they're, we need an Omega in Antioch. And so, we need, people like Malcolm, and mentors for our young folks out here. So definitely I'm creating a list and I will be reaching out.
Hey, that prescription travels. All you got to do is turn right and keep straight travel. Only one bad decision the way it travels. That goes anywhere, any place. And once again, congratulations, hon. We'll be following you. We'll be following you.
Oh, I want to watch your Zoom. Yeah.
Do they have? I guess, do they televise the? I'm sure they televise the city council meetings online. Okay.
Yeah. And I could share the link.
Yeah.
And folks could come in. You can even submit, public comment.
Yeah.
And just say, "We love you."
Well, Tamisha, you are loved, because in the chat room right now, Kareem Irvin says you are awesome. And he says that you spearheaded a process in Contra Costa County to provide emergency COVID relief for re-entry youth. So you really are doing the work. It just goes so far. And I just really am so happy for you. And
man.
Yeah.
I want people to know that. No. Thank you. Look, as long as you're doing, you don't need to promote your works. It speaks for itself.
And let the works that I've done or I do speak for me. And one last thing, girl, I love that hair. That hair is flaming. I mean,
thank you.
Popping. You don't catch a lot of attention just for the hair. You have to let folks, look, I'm a city councilwoman. You can't just,
Yeah, you know what? You need theme music when you walk into city council. I don't know what your song on some Mary J. I don't know, but it needs to come on. You walk in, take a seat, the music quiet down.
Everybody loves the sunshine. You gonna have to come in with that. All right, thanks for visiting with us tonight. Congratulations, and just thank you. Just thank you for being you. That's the best way for me to say it. Thank you for being you. And I know your family is proud. Everybody in Richmond's proud. And yeah,
But we got a running joke in my house that everybody voted for me hoping I wouldn't win because I'm already too busy.
I know that's right.
Now, like they was watching the numbers like everybody else, and when it seemed to be official, they was like, "All right, what we gotta do." So thank you so much, Alive and Free family. I love you all. Yeah, let's just keep helping people stay alive and free.
I meant to ask, how long is your term? I need to know, is it 2 years?
It's 2 years,
Okay.
and I can run for a 4-year seat. And so, God willing, I'll probably be hanging around for a while.
All right, Mayor. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, okay, baby. I'm gonna call you and talk to you about that other matter. We got to get you in the consortium. You do everything. We're gonna make it happen. I'll let you know all about that because you should be there. I never want to know why I didn't do that before, but we'll get Safe Return in there too. But thank you.
Safe Return will be happy to officially join.
That's right. Family. Gonna be fun. Okay. Bye, hon. See you later. Stay alive and free and safe. Okay, and let's pull in our next guest. I'm going to let them know I don't have oh my God, I got so into Tamisha, I forgot to text the people to come on in. Oh, Lord. And who can talk while I'm not here? Just me and you. Everybody left. Ain't that something? Oh, they just left me solo.
Where'd everyone go? Tamisha's really amazing. I got to document her while in Richmond. She was doing, like these violence prevention walks, and it was just a huge group of people. And yeah, she's just really about taking care of her community. And so, yeah, and I know that the Richmond Pulse has covered her and like the work that she's done. And it's just really beautiful to see that she is in a position where she can really help make decisions, to really help people, that her heart's in it. And she
makes things happen.
Exactly.
Makes things happen.
Yeah.
She has an idea and she won't stop until it is actualized. She's amazing.
Unselfish too. Yeah. So
she is. I said before, it'd be great to have street soldiers everywhere. Streeters in the White House, penthouse, everywhere. Yeah. And she's exactly that. I mean, she is exactly that. I mean, she's a community person, a public servant who is really being a public servant in that particular arena. And great for Tamisha. I mean, that's something you ain't got to worry about. She's the real deal. I mean, she is really the real deal.
When I saw her running, I clicked like on every single post. I was like, yes. So, yay. And we do have a lot of our new guests in the room. So
I see. I'm seeing faces pop out. Yeah. Where's the big dog?
He's here. He's low. I think it's loading up.
Come on. I want to wait till we get all 4 of them in before I go to our.
Aww. Exciting. Some of them were in our Facebook chat room. So thank you for joining in on there. We appreciate that. Oh, my cheeks are hurting now. It's such a good night.
There he is. What's that beard? Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's getting thick.
We move to the second guest for the second part of the show. And there is a new EMT program in San Francisco. And we want to let everybody know, talk about, in fact, I already saw something. It was on LinkedIn. And somebody said, I want to get in. So the word is already out. I know it has been. I know the deadline is soon. So we want to especially do it tonight. And our guests tonight are Michael Gibson.
Yes.
And
how are you?
Aisha Romero. And Antioch, how do you say, is it Antoine or Antioch? Because I had trouble getting the spelling of your name. Every time I put it, so how do you say your name correctly?
Antoine.
It is Antoine. Okay, that's just your spelling. I know you. Yes. You black. We black. We can spell our name. And Attica Bowden, thank you all for joining us. And let me just start with this guy with the beard.
Yeah.
Man, it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to see you, one of Omega's 250 college graduates. And so I got to say that right away, because if I start talking about Mike, we will not get into the EMT program. The whole show will be about him. But
right.
So just tell us about this, Mike. I know EMT has been your thing for a while. Talk about what you've been doing with it, and why you're bringing it to San Francisco and how it got here, and then we'll get everybody else.
Yeah, well, let's just get straight to it. Saving lives has been my thing, man. And EMT has just been the vehicle that allowed me to do that and carry on in the Omega way, alive and free. And with the EMS Corps, as you know, I stumbled onto that by accident, not necessarily having any type of medical training or background in all of that, but I found myself the program manager of an existing program or former program that we now made into a national model and considered best practices for addressing the needs of young men of color. And I was attracted to it because it was first located in the juvenile justice system. And then, the graduation, there was these young men that were going through a basic first responder program. And our former agency director, Alex Briscoe, attended the graduation and said, Mike, I love what you're doing. You have to do it bigger. I have this vision of 500 young men being on ambulances. Can we make that happen? I said, yeah, but it's going to cost a lot of money. He said, how much? I said, $1 million. So he said, I'll find the money. And in 6 months, we had $1.2 million. And we piloted our first program in 2011 with 11 young men. And now, as of 2021, that's coming up, we're going to be launching our 18th cohort. So, it's interesting that you have 250 Omega graduates. I kind of got you beat, Dr. March, about one. I have 251 EMS Corps alumni. So, so in the spirit of tradition, I've just been kind of continuing the work. And then this has just been my work for the past 10 years. So with EMS Corps, we've learned a lot. A lot of media attention, like the New York Times article and PBS NewsHour special on us, and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation featured us as a promise story. In fact, they gave me $500,000 demonstration grant. So it was all about replication and where else could we find young people and give this opportunity to. In fact, one of my alumni, one of those 251 graduates, you would get to him, is online. San Francisco firefighter Antoine Davis. He was in our program, so he's now a firefighter. So I wanted to bring this to San Francisco, and I tried to do that several years ago and failed miserably. So it was a humbling experience trying to come into San Francisco and do a little something. But it really is about I didn't have the right team. I didn't have any connections. I didn't, no one knew me. I even tried to throw that street soldier, juice card, Nigga Boys Club, I'm alumni. They were just like, yeah, okay, well, EMS is a totally different system in trying to break into. So I was not successful. So I moved on into other areas and replicated successfully in Los Angeles, and then 3 successful cohorts there, as well as prior to the pandemic, we was actually replicating in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But that's on hold because of the pandemic. But Antoine and Attica, who's online here, they came to the office one day. I know Antoine has always talked about doing something in San Francisco. And I kind of looked at him crazy because I just remembered my failure. And I was like, I'm not messing with San Francisco. And he was like, we're going to do it. We got to do it, Mike. So he kept coming. And then one day he shows up to the office with Chief Attica. And of course, yeah, she convinced me to give it another try. And here we are. We put a solid team together. We got our other Omega sister on board, Aisha over there, and with Antoine and Attica, and we put the right team and got the right resources. And here we are getting ready to launch our first pilot cohort in January.
You know, before we go on and meet the other guests, let me just say, just I was saying to, you know, Tamisha Walker and, you know, her vision and her work with Safe Return Project in Richmond. The same for you. I mean, I remember when you started the EMT thing. I mean, when you got out there and you're in San Leandro and, you know, again, the work that you've done with this thing has just been astounding. You know, you can't get any accolades if nothing's happening. You know, you can't get national stories if there's nothing to report on. And this has been your baby. You know, I've you know, pictures over the years of the cohorts, and I've gone over a couple times and seen you work with the young men. Let me just say, and as you're coming to the city, I guess to say Coach Wilbur Jiggets, which is just beaming down from heaven.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I could hear his voice and see, talking about you. And this whole thing is about alive and free, and educated, alive and free and employed, alive and free and everything. But you got to be alive and free first. So just you know, just every time I see the work that the you know, the alums have done, and you say, you know, you got me beat by one, I want you to beat me by 1,001. I want to be. I don't. I just want people alive and free. See?
Right.
You know from where we started this whole thing, but working with you and the young people and the issues that we were facing, that we still face. But you know, it's funny. I tell you this, Mike. I was talking. We did a Zoom with the new kids, and we were showing them, you know, a lot of movies that we've shown in the past. It didn't talk about the disease, the violence, and so on and forth. And we were showing them Menace to Society and, you know, Boys in the Hood and Juice and all of them. They were like, I don't know nothing about that. And I was so happy to hear them say that. My God. You know, it happens, but they hadn't been touched by it. And that's progress. You know, we didn't want them to go through what so many of you had gone through. And for you to come out of it and create this is just amazing. And then to be joined by Aisha, your hair done got long, girl. Look at you.
Well,
look at Aisha. What's up? What's up?
What's up, Dr. Marshall? Oh, here we go.
Hi. No, I'm just saying hi. That's all. I'm not going. Hi, you girl. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh my Lord! My Lord! So, tell me the role that you're playing in this EMT in the city of San Francisco.
So I am the executive director for both Dusty's Fishing Well, which is our overall umbrella organization, nonprofit based out of San Francisco, and I'm also the executive director for City EMT. So Mike, my brother here, you know, the fire is hot. I'm more afraid, I hate to say, Attica, of Mike than I am of you being my big boss as my founder, who I love, but y'all don't know, I've known Mike all my life. So I got some big shoes to fit and the expectations are high. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm from the city, the community is what matters. So, you know, we fighting for our people.
Let's meet the other two, Antoine and Attica. Let's start with you, Antoine. What's your role here in this?
How you guys doing? So I'm a consultant or advisor, being, as Mike said earlier, I went through the program. So coming together, how I played a role is being a liaison more so for the student interaction and how we can tailor their experiences, me have gone through it. And then now also a behind the scenes role as well, and making sure that we have everything we need to make sure we can move forward and have the success of the program be as successful as it was for myself and other brothers that went through my cohort.
Okay, I want to come back to you because I want to talk about exactly what that experience was like. Attica, let's hear from you and your role.
Hello, everyone. Dr. Marshall, your name has been whispered in my ear for years. I've always felt 1 degree of separation away from you because I think I'm connected to, before I met Mike Gibson and Aisha I know a couple of other members who were Mega Boys participants and always spoke very highly of you. So although it took me 20 years to come and meet you, I'm very happy to meet you and the Live and Free team. So just a little bit about myself. I, like Aisha, I am a native San Franciscan. I grew up in the Fillmore district. And in 1997, after 6 years of a struggle, having a felony on my record as well, I'm very touched by Tamisha's testimony and would love to connect with her on some other things later. But I was finally able to get into the fire department after successfully dropping a felony that I had on my own record. 6 years to do that. So now I think I'm rounding and beginning my 24th year in the San Francisco Fire Department and sit as a chief. And I'm very proud and happy about that.
Wait a minute, you're the chief?
I am a chief. There's several chiefs. I'm a chief, a little chief. I'm a little chief.
Hold on. I gotta jump in. Ain't nothing little about a chief.
He a big
Make
chief.
sure we clear about that. Okay? Ain't nothing little about a chief. And Aisha, executive director 2 times. And Mike, now you know I love you dearly, okay? I'm just like, oh my goodness sake. So if you don't hear me saying that, that's because I'm too busy grinning over here.
All right.
Hey, chief, and you ain't little.
Nah,
Thank you. Thank you, Lady Estelle. I appreciate that. For years, I have been working with my mom on, we talked about an etiquette and manners program. She was very big on decorum. And in 2018, she passed away. And that was kind of my push to start my foundation or my nonprofit. And we really started it with the vision of providing educational enrichment program to the teens, because that's where we thought that the need was. As I expressed to the target communities in the Bayview and in the Western Addition, what we offered, they said, my adult children need that. And so when we began looking at partnerships, in addition to already being in the department, understanding the hardship it was for our people to get in, we brainstormed, and City EMT was born last year. So it's another component of our foundation for our organization. So in the last year, that's what we've spent doing. Is you talk about the P word, politics. I think with myself and Antoine and Aisha and Mike collectively, we've been able to get through a lot of doors in the last year and finally get some funding and find a home. We've been very supported by District 10 Supervisor Shaman Walton, and we've got lots of partnerships set up for job placement with the fire department and DPH. And I think it falls right in line with Mayor Breed's vision, which is to get our young people employed, but not just employed, but to provide them true career pathways that will then allow them to make an income that they can actually survive and live and still remain citizens of San Francisco. That's what she wants. She wants those numbers. We got to stop the bleeding basically in San Francisco as far as our percentage of people of color going down. I can't live there. I can come and work. I can come from Antioch. I can come from Bay Point, but I can't survive and live there. So I think that this is that program. We can get them to be EMTs. We can work with the city and county agencies and get them jobs starting at entry level. They're like your Mega Boys. They become alumni. We love on them and we keep them, and we advocate for them to promote themselves into higher earned positions.
What I said to Tamisha was, so often, politics is about power. Mm-hmm. And if you bump into something that's done right, you get lucky, right? And so when you see, the work that this is intended to do, when you see Mike and you see yourself, you see Aisha, and then in the product, you have Antoine who's a product, cutting through all the power stuff and the red tape and the this tape and the that tape, and it'll drive you nuts. And I'm hoping Shaman helped.
He did, yes.
because you know he is an Omega. He's one of the.
Shaman always got our back.
Yeah.
You know, that's family. So
And I would be surprised if he didn't, because he's got to deal with the politics and the red and this and that, and to get you in, it's. Let me just say, to have you guys in positions where you can do this for other people is exactly what we want to happen.
Mhm.
So for those who don't know what an EMT is, you know, when I hear EMT, I see an ambulance. That's all I see is ambulance. And I see ambulance, and I think that's the person that's coming to do something. So describe just front and center what EMT, I hear EMS, I hear two different things. I want to know which is. Just break it down for people. If you got somebody watching, I want to do that, I think. Is that the guys that go? Is that the ladies that go there? Tell them, break it down what it is. Who wants to start?
Antoine to take care of that.
Living proof, nothing better.
Yeah, so an EMT is an emergency medical technician, and you're absolutely right. When you do see an ambulance, one of the people, if not both, that get off is an EMT. So we, with our scope of work, we can do a limited number of things to provide care for any kind of patient on whatever the circumstance is. Another person that you may have is a paramedic. And a paramedic can administer medicine and give advanced ALS care to the patients. And that's like starting an IV, King tubes or airways. If somebody's having trouble breathing for whatever reason that may come. And then you also have EMTs who are firefighters, as myself, who we have the ability to do the same. We have the same job title as an EMT. However, we also have the fire aspect and suppression, where we're going into a burning building, car wrecks, so on and so forth. So to answer the question, I hope I answered it right.
No.
Emergency medical technician, but there are a various amount of things and jobs that EMT can do, and having that certificate gives you the ability to do a lot, and it's a great foundation for anything in the medical field.
I heard the word foundation. I can see that as a springboard to doing other things. But what does the training consist of? And Mike or anybody can talk about it. What does the training consist of? How long does it take? Let's just go on into it.
Aisha can handle that.
sure. So basically with our program, City EMT, we are City EMT because we're representing San Francisco. As everyone knows, historically, we call San Francisco the city. That's where the
Oakland is town and Richmond is,
we couldn't say Frisco City or Frisco EMT because, you know, that's not politically correct. So we stuck to city. So our program will launch at the end of January. We have an orientation at the end of January, and it will be a 4-month program that roughly will be anywhere from 30 to 40 hours, possibly a couple more a week. But our hands-on component specifically runs for 30 to 40 hours, where we have skills training that will be hands-on. We will have an academic curriculum that we will administer via Zoom due to the pandemic. We have a phenomenal educator who is currently a paramedic with San Francisco Fire Department as well, and he's from Hunters Point, born and raised, grew up with him. We will also offer healing circles, will offer life skills. We're offering physical agility components where they can get access to getting themselves in shape. We will also support with intensive case management. And with that comes the component of really focusing on like full wraparound services, trauma-informed care, really meeting the needs of our people in a community, because again, being an EMT, you're a first responder, and most of the population that we are seeking to serve, we have a lot of work that we need to work on ourselves. So that whole restorative justice, trauma-informed care, some approach, we're still working on how to specifically tie that into a word. We'll get creative soon. But it's just really important to meet our students where they're at, to make them the most powerful, inspirational, strong individuals, so that they can then be a higher number in what we need to see when 911 is called, and those responders that come are more familiar to who we need to, you know, see a mirror image of ourselves. But that's pretty much Did I miss anything? Twan?
I would
Go
just
ahead.
add, if I can, Dr. Marshall, let me just add these other components is also mentorship and community service, which is also a big part because we believe that since we're recruiting from San Francisco, that our students should work or volunteer in their community and be an example and be a model what professionalism is. So they're pretty much getting the same program model that we are doing over in the East Bay with EMS Core. So it's being pretty much replicated in San Francisco, but with a little San Francisco twist, you know what I mean?
A cohort lasts, I heard 30 to 40 hours a week. Is it 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, or is there a?
It's 4 months. So we'll start curriculum in February. So our orientation is January 27th. So I'll back up a little bit. We are currently accepting applications. Our target population is 18 to 24 years old. We are both accepting male and female for our first cohort. We have 15 positions available. We are, again, looking for individuals of color. And to be very frank, I want specifically the Black community, just because, again, historically and all that comes with that, but I'm not knocking my Latin people either. We will offer a monthly stipend to support them financially. And we will incorporate, again, going back to the case management piece, once we assess each individual on top of, to get to know them more in depth, we are able to find out what could be some other barriers behind, the scenes that as we cultivate our relationships and really open up what I call those black boxes to try to dig out the tar and heal, to support them in any which way we can. So as Mike did mention, in reference to like the mentorship and building, we're building a village, we're building a long-term family, because it's like giving back, just constantly giving back and paying it forward. We will expect all of our students to successfully pass the National Registry exam, which will be before they graduate. They will prepare for that. We give the hours increase based on if those students need extra academic support. My team and I will provide extra tutoring to make sure that all the needs are met, address learning differences and learning styles. We've invested tremendously on a phenomenal educational platform to meet the needs. And again, because of COVID and the online approach could be a little strenuous for those who may have not been in school for some time. So it's like we're being very conscious about how we're giving educational access based on those types of learners. And then we anticipate everyone to graduate towards the end of May. And then all of what we discussed thus far is what is considered, as we say internally, phase 1. Then phase 2 is we're building a pipeline of those job placements for different positions. As we spoke briefly about the fire department or DPH, there's certain skills that need to be met. And again, since I'm not a firefighter, I don't really know all of that, the specificity, about that, but we are creating those pipelines so that then they can get to what would be phase 3 and so on and so forth. And that's just that little pipeline or direction. Then there are some students that will aspire to go to higher academia or other positions within the medical field. But in overall sustainability, being an EMT, the starting wage can be anywhere from upper 20s to early 30s and grow after 6 months or so on. So again, then there's benefits, and it's just, there's a whole bunch of other components that come into it, but then they become self-sufficient. So again, when we're talking about our population, we're talking about at-risk youth that, with all the other programs that we have specifically in San Francisco within the trades, we're just giving another pipeline of options and opportunity, and basically modeling after EMS core is critical, because that right there is the data and the statistics. They prove to be 100% successful. So those 1,000 people by the end of 2021 or maybe 2022 between our programs, EMS core and City EMT, Dr. Marshall, we might catch you with that.
Please.
Because it's always the competition or it's the
I'm
challenge.
born to pass. Look. Barry Bonds passed Babe Ruth. That ain't no problem. Antoine, how did you find out about the program, and what's life been like for you going through it and afterwards?
So I was actually at school. I went to UC Berkeley and played football. So one of my teammates ended up passing away during a workout. And long story short,
wow,
his best friend on the team kind of wasn't feeling football no more. And he went through EMS Corps. His name's Isaac Lapite, who's currently now in his third year of medical school, actually. So I definitely want to thank him. So we were talking one day, and I felt something was going wrong with the coaching staff and politics again with football. So I started looking for other avenues to really honestly pay my rent, right? So when you get a scholarship check, we had maybe $1,100 a month to stay in Berkeley to cover all your expenses. And I pretty much figured out that wasn't going to be coming anymore. So I applied to the program as well as other jobs. And applying to this program, which was a blessing in disguise, everything happens for a reason. It gave me the opportunity not only to get my rent paid, but more importantly, it gave me the opportunity to be alive and free. The best part of this program that a lot of people really don't understand is not even getting your EMT, which is great. And that's definitely what we're striving for. And we're striving for perfection in that aspect. But the best part of the program were the life skills, the mentorship, the healing circles, the therapy sessions, and being able to be in a environment where you can be 100% vulnerable, right? Especially as a young man and a Black man in the community. We're big on, we're taught definitely survival. You ask somebody what they want to do for the rest of their life, they don't know that answer because they're trying to figure out what am I going to do tomorrow. And this program gave me the ability to talk about and discuss and heal from my childhood traumas. It gave me the ability to express that and have that connection with the brotherhood. I was cohort 9 of EMS Corps, which is, I got to say, the best cohort. And
your cohort is always the best. It don't matter about my cohort.
We know how that works. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna steal the phrase from Omega. I think the best cohort is the next cohort.
I gotta ask you, Anna, before we go on, what did you think when you first met Michael Gibson?
I said, I had to size him up. I'm a big guy. He's a big guy. So
2 alpha males, I know.
Oh yeah.
It was cool. I sat back and even with Mike, I watched Mike the whole time. I watched how he moved. I watched his business practices. I watched how he interacted with us. I watched how he loved us, that passion that he gave to us in terms of, I want you to be successful, maybe sometimes even more than we wanted to be successful ourselves. So I watched how he did that. And, essentially when we had the opportunity to come and bring this to San Francisco, it was a no-brainer because of how I seen Mike move and how I seen Mike manage us. And our class was we had a very proactive class. I think that's what Mike lost some hair during our cohort.
Yeah, that's why I'm bald now.
The best cohort.
Not growing back.
I'm just going to jump in and say, of all the things that I heard Antoine just say, that part for me, that's the most powerful and the most transformative is I watched how he loved us. You don't hear men talking about men who love them. And anytime a man can love another man, it'd be healthy and positive. And that the magic transformation happens. See, that speaks volumes to me.
Yes, he did. I mean, we had a lot of conversations. We know he wears a size 15 shoe.
14.
But
14.
But it gave us access to opportunities as young men. I graduated with the #1 public degree in the world, and at the time, I still didn't have any money coming in, and any resources and access to opportunities. Fast forward, 4 years later, 5 years later, I'm a firefighter in San Francisco, going on my 4th year, November 28th, 2016, we started. So we just had our anniversary. I ran a call the other day at a Laguna Honda Hospital and ran into one of my brothers in my cohort, Nate Alisario, who's running the Laguna Honda COVID unit right now. He's a registered nurse. Emil Hope, he is at UCSF Mission Bay working. And these are all in San Francisco, which is great. We're already serving the community of San Francisco. So the pipeline, as they discussed earlier, is already there. Ryan White is a San Francisco firefighter. He was in my class as well. One of my other cohort brothers texted me the other day. He actually got a letter to get accepted into the next academy for the city and county of San Francisco as well. So the community work that, you know, we set out to do and the agents of change that, you know, essentially the program created is, you know, we're putting that into action firsthand.
Wow. First of all, I just want to say congratulations on both of you being firefighters. The great thing about being firefighters is that nobody dislikes you. You could be the best policeman in the world, but then you're gonna get disliked because of everybody else. And you know, I was talking to one of the kids the other day, and they said something about, man, I want to be a firefighter, man, because you know, I don't want to be no policeman, right? But so just congrats. And I'm also saying that's hard to get into, but getting into it is, in fact, my accountant, David Brown, his son is an Oakland firefighter, and you know, he's still so hard for him to get into. It was a wonderful thing for him to do. And I also want to say, Antoine, I completely understand those conversations. There were many nights, Tuesday nights, I would drive Mike home, right? And you know, those conversations were great. Finding out everything that went on in his life, you know, when he was off at Morehouse, those conversations, and so I'm not surprised at all at his, you know, our motto is the more you know, the more you owe. As you grow and progress in life, so you must help others to do likewise. And my grandmother told me that I was 6 years old, and all he is doing is what was done for him. And it's just wonderful to see. Absolutely, it's just, you know, there's so much mess that goes on that gets, you know, we spend a lot of time, but you know, the proof is in what we're seeing here, you know, alive and free, and being the best person that you can be, and something that, you know, the community don't have. You know what I like about this, Mike? I mean, I won't speak for Mike, but I've been to unfortunately, too many funerals. And when you go to things like that, people are lying, at least from the beginning, right? He was a good boy. He was this, you know, and so forth. You know, it's nice when you don't have to lie about somebody. When you say Antoine Davis, oh, Antoine, what a great guy. Mike Gibson, what a great guy. Isha Romero, what a great person. Attica, what a great person. That is, your name speaks volumes for yourself. It's not even about your past. It's about what you're doing now in your future. And that's what makes this thing just so wonderful. And the fact that you went through the struggle of getting into the city, because this city is crazy, just period. I mean, it's the red tape in this city is
politics. It's right. So political.
It's like, you know, hey, Chaka Khan said through the fire, and it's like worse than that, right? But you stuck with it and you put it together, and here you're now making it happen, and only good things, and lives are going to be touched and do much better. And you know, Mike knows one of our coachisms, and I say coach because the coach is, we're not related, but we're all family, and we're all family. And to see our family do well is just amazing. If I get a call tomorrow and says, Dr. Marshall, I heard about that EMT program, heard about that. Let me just ask one other thing. Because I want the people who are watching to know, and I'm sure Mike is going to say, and Antoine's going to say, this is not an easy program. I mean, you just can't walk in here, right? I mean, you're like, you think you coming in, like, you know, I know some brothers, they be coming in. I found out, I want to tell you something, Attica, and you may not know this, but you know, some brothers, they just want some money. They don't want to work. And I know this thing is going to be some work. Was it an easy program to go through, Antoine?
I would say the hardest part for me was definitely the healing circles, right? That being vulnerable, breaking down, pretty much unlearning and relearning, you know, reshaping that mindset. I definitely think that's something. And then once you have that, that's something that it doesn't come with age, it doesn't come with time, it doesn't come with anything but work. That's work right there. You know, we had daily journals and with the life coaching, talking to yeah, that was the hardest part, hands down. But the reward and the outcome, once you peel back those layers and those onions, and once you really sit down with those deep, dark demons that you had and express that and let that go, the reward is, there's not even words to describe how you feel in that transformation. It's just that positive affirmation coming out of that. You can do anything.
Healing circles are
Yeah.
definitely not easy
Not
because it requires one to be vulnerable, and then we expose ourselves. And see, for a man to be in a position to have to expose himself and be vulnerable is definitely a challenge and a struggle. But if you can make it through that struggle, baby, fighting the fire is not a challenge, okay? Because the challenge of that fire inside sometimes can blow out your whole life. And if you can manage that, you can deal with the other stuff. I want to say a few things to Aisha, because I know a little bit of your story and your journey. And I want you to know that I am delighted to see you and to hear you. I am so excited and proud and pleased. And oh my goodness, and you never called me back when I called you for your graduation. And don't worry, don't start looking over up in the sky. Just stay with me. Just stay with me because you can't find it up there. But I need to hear from you. You need to send me a text.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that. Yes, ma'am. Send me a text so I can give you some updates. But I am just so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I just want you to I don't need to say, because you are resilient, you are tenacious, you are persistent, you are hardworking, and you don't give up on yourself or anybody else. And I need you to know that I know that I see that. And I need to say that to you. Chief Attica, I just have just a few things to say to you. Go ahead, girl, because I love how you sit there poised and power and present. I love it.
So can like you be the real chief eventually? Like the big.
What do you mean the real chief?
No, the big chief. Like, you know.
That's what my mama said. She kept saying, be good, keep your mouth, be good about your mouth, leave Fillmore in Fillmore, and you have great things to accomplish. So I'm still in the fight. I'm still preparing myself for the next ranks that could happen. I feel good where I am because this is the give back time, Dr. Marshall, of all that's been given to me. I've been very, very blessed that I would be remiss in my duties as a Philmonian, as I call myself, to not be able to make the opportunity available to somebody that looks just like me. I'm all about passing this on to as many as I can.
Stay poised, stay present, and stay prayerful. And see, and now that I've seen you and I know who you are and what you're doing, and we've got women of color all over the place.
Yes.
Okay. About to be in the White House, we've got representation. So you just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I will.
And
Yeah,
see,
that would be.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Chief Scott and Chief Bowman just sound so good. So, you know.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much.
That's not to throw shade on the current chief. That just, you know.
He was a good friend of mine. Chief Nicholson has been beyond supportive for this program. She is definitely looking and aware that the numbers are in need, but she knows that it's not necessarily her face that can do the advocating for it. It's us that you see in this Zoom meeting that need to put what we call boots to the ground and get out to Sunnydale and find that diamond in the rough and go to double rock and say, let me see those transcripts. You've been going to school. I have something for you. Here's this opportunity that will change the trajectory of your life, because that is what it's done for me. It's what it's done for Antoine and so many of our other brothers and sisters who have gotten this golden opportunity. The fire service is a hidden gem, and it's hidden for a reason.
That's right.
I like that.
I know.
Can
Okay.
I say this?
So
Can I
proud.
say this? Add this. It's been very wonderful working with this team to pull this off in the city. And of course, I was a real, I had to get out of my, heartbreak of not being able to replicate some years ago. But I think it's right on time. I think it's the right time to do it. And I just want to say to those who are listening, who may be interested into this and applying, this is one of those careers that it only takes a high school diploma or GED and 4 months of training, and you can be on your way into a career, and within any healthcare field that you decide to go through after becoming an EMT. Okay, so it's not one of those Mickey Mouse programs you can just show up and get paid. You got to put in work, and anything worth having is worth working for, and you have to work hard. And we're gonna have mentors, and even myself is gonna be on their behind, like I was on Antoine's behind the whole 5 months in the program to make sure that he became a firefighter. And so, we're looking to recruit people who are serious about changing their life. They're ready for change. They're motivated. They just need an opportunity, and we can provide that opportunity. And I also just want to put this out there. We have funding for one cohort. And of course, our plan is to, of course, sustainability and to be able to have multiple cohorts moving forward. But right now, this cohort that's launching in January is going to be a defining moment for us. So we're asking the community to participate. I want to even go back. Omega, 30 years old? I want to go back to no more than 30, right? So I want to go back. Remember how the community was donating a little money. Some was putting a little food on the table before foundations start donating. We're at that stage. So we got a little money to do a cohort because we really want to make sure that our participants get a stipend and be able to take care of their immediate needs. But anyone that wants to donate, sponsor anything, they could log on to the website and then just donate $5, $10, whatever is in your heart. I know things is tough right now, but we just asking, for other foundations and other community, if you feel like just donating to support these young people, it'll go a long way, because these are the young people that could potentially be saving your life. If somebody come up to your house when you got to call that ambulance, and then you see somebody that used to be down the street a knucklehead, but now he got an EMT uniform on talking about saving you, it's going to give you a different look, different outlook on the community. So wanted to put that out there.
You are one of our kids, and we will support you in your efforts and your work. And so please, tell me what I need to do to send a check to you. And I will have that in the mail tomorrow.
Mrs. Stell, I can
you gonna text me that too?
Yes, I might as well, because there's more reasons to open that line. So once we're done, I'll be right on that phone. I feel so bad, but yes. And for those, our website is www.cityemt.org, and all the information that you need on how to apply, answers to frequently asked questions, our donation space button is there, learning more about who we are, and our application. Everything is on our website.
Just let me hear one more time. Ages 18 through
24.
24, young men and young women?
Yes, for this first cohort, because normally moving forward, we plan on separating male and female to their own for other reasons. But since this is our pilot program, we are opening it up to both, and everything in regards, I'm going to be very clear, even with the intimate components of our program, the healing circles, we will separate the two so that they have a safe, comfortable environment for the reasons to why we aspire to have separate cohorts moving forward. But we wanted to give access to both at this time.
Well, the one thing you got going for you, and I didn't have this when we started Omega years ago, but when you get a few of these, you don't have to say nothing. When you get a few Mike Gibsons and you get some Omar Butlers and some Ravon Hunters and them, and you get Aisha and them, and they say, does it work? Yeah, you see that guy over there? So what you got?
Well, I
now?
have to say, my big sister Siobhan texted me, so I just want to give a shout out to my sister because being the youngest, me and Shani are the babies of the first generation. Without Siobhan, I know Corey will be sitting here with some stories about every time somebody tried to kick me out of a room, and I never let go. I would fight to the death. Like, I ain't leaving here. So it's all because of Siobhan. You know, she gave us our power being the girls in the boys club, but you know, whatever. We evolve, times change.
Well, the point is, Antoine, you just show that it works. You know, that's the thing. That's all it is. And that makes it a whole lot easier for folks. How do I know where it is? So this is great. This is wonderful. I'm glad we got a chance to do this tonight. You said the program starts January, I think did I hear 24th or 27th or something like that? I heard that date.
Our orientation is the 27th, but applications close December 15th.
Okay.
By the end of this year of December, we will reach out to prospective applicants to let them know the next phases. We will have an interview process. We will dive deeper, and then we prepare them for the orientation that will start January 27th.
All right, we got all the information. This is wonderful. Mike, thanks for your pioneering work. Chief, keep moving on up, and glad to meet you after all these years.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Marshall, for having us. It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Antoine, thanks for being you, and you know, thanks for letting Mike intrude in your life, because that's all we did. We just intrude in people's lives and hope they don't get mad at us because we think we can help them. Aisha, like Mrs. Sell said, wonderful, 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 wonderful. This is going to be a great program, do a lot of good. And I tell you what, we'll see you down the road. Maybe when the pilot program is over, we'll come back and you'll tell everybody how it went, and you know, get the word out. Maybe by that time, we'll be back in the studio, because now we can't not go into the studio because of COVID, but being able to do this on Zoom, which by the way, the station will get this tomorrow right in, and they'll put it out. So it'll get out through Cameo anyway. But it'd be great to have you with the phones that people can actually call in and talk to you. But thank you very, very much. Just great. So good luck.
Thank
and
Thank you.
And good night. All right.
Good to see you, Lady Estelle. All right, again, we're gonna be in touch.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Good night, you guys.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank
All
you.
right, good night.
All right. Bye-bye.